This right here is your traditional recon player, with the primary role of reconnaissance and intelligence gathering, while also having target elimination capabilities and target suppression. One of the ways you can play recon in Battlefield 6. But what if I told you there was actually another way to play recon in Battlefield 6? One that kind of skips two roles and only focuses on target elimination. And that's none other than the role of the aggressive sniper. And today, I've got everything you need to know about being an aggressive sniper in Battlefield 6. Whether it's tips and tricks, things to be looking out for, this is your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about playing the role of an aggressive sniper. And if you like what you see, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe, and of course, check out my Twitch where you can see me play live if you have any other questions. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. Now you might be sitting here thinking, Duck, why do I want to play sniper in an aggressive manner in Battlefield 6? The first reason is that it's a game. You can play the game however you like. The second reason is that it's a high risk, high reward type of playstyle. It really gets the adrenaline pumping. Think of this. You're sniping in the back of the map, it's calm, relaxing, you're going for long range shots. Or you could be playing super up close with your sniper, knowing that if you land the one shot, you're gonna get out alive, but if you miss the shot, you're gonna be back to the respawn screen. It adds a different dynamic that might seem like a challenge to players and honestly can be very satisfying and very rewarding. It's definitely a playstyle that's worth trying out at least one time. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you can just go back to what you typically do. But let me just give you a few ways of how you play this playstyle. One of the first and major things when it comes to aggressive sniping is a little bit of the movement. You might be wondering, Duck, how is your movement involved when you're just literally running up to people and sniping them right in the face? Well, there's two movements that I like to do. This goes back all the way from previous Battlefields, even my time and experience in Battle Bit, if you're familiar with that game. But essentially, it's taking a shot, then immediately crouching or proing. This throws off your hitbox, making yourself harder to hit, but there is some small things you have to keep in mind when you're doing this. For reference, this is what it would look like. Zoom in, shoot, immediately prone. Zoom in, shoot, immediately crouch. But if you do it too fast, it will actually throw off your shot with the sniper. Now, something to keep in mind is that if you crouch or prone too fast, sometimes your shot will actually get thrown off and you will actually miss. It can be a little frustrating at times, so you always want to make sure you shoot first and then crouch or prone. This is a big thing that a lot of players mistake or make a mistake of when they're trying this aggressive style, and that is going too early. Some instances you can pull it off, but as you can see when I zoom in ADS, the shot flies straight up to the sky. The best reference points or the best thing to keep in mind is have the target fully in your reticle or inside of your scope and then crouch. Don't try to do a quick scope like so. Make sure the target's there and then prone. Give it like a split second before you crouch or prone. This ensures that you can manage this. Now you might be sitting here also thinking, why would I need this in general? Well, if you're playing the recon class, which I think if you're playing sniper, you should be playing the recon class. In my opinion, playing another class is sacrilegious, but that's just me. But the big thing is, on the recon class, you don't have the deployable shield. You don't have, the noob tube of the assault class. You don't have a rocket launcher of the engineer class. You don't have some sort of safety net. The only safety net you have on the recon is using cover. And the best way to use cover is to go prone and crouch. So if you add that to aggressive style of play, it just adds a different dynamic that players in this game often don't think about, and you can make yourself extremely hard to hit. It's something that a lot of people don't truly understand in this game, and that's why I think aggressive sniping is definitely really fun. You get a lot of heads turning saying, what is this guy doing? Why is there a recon player in my face with a sniper? It's probably one of the funniest things to see in chat, and sometimes you get accusated, and it's still rather funny. Now that you got a little bit of a general understanding of some of the movement, let's talk about aiming. Now, aiming for this type of gameplay or gunplay, whatever you might want to classify it, is not for the faint of heart. It does take some practice. It does take some skill. You have to have a pretty good understanding of where to aim for head level. This whole playstyle relies on headshots. For reference, on Tracker, my mini scout headshot percentage is 85%. That's because all of my shots have to be headshots or I'll be sent back to the respawn screen. That's where that high risk, high reward gameplay comes from. Now, to land those headshots, here are some quick tips. The first one, and probably the biggest one, what I talked about in one of my previous sniper guides for Battlefield 6, is centering. Centering is getting the center of your crosshair on the target before you shoot, because when you have your crosshair on the target, you can easily ADS, shoot, get the shot done. When you don't have your centering, or when you don't have your crosshair on the target, you have to do micro adjust and go left and right, up and down, whatever the case may be. This allows for error. You could miss the shot completely, you can miss just by a small narrow gap, but it can be pretty difficult to hit the shot. That's why centering is a must need, in my opinion. If you have the crosshair on the target, you just ADS and shoot. I mean, it's easier said than done. Just put the crosshair on the target and shoot, but it is something that you have to learn. Another big factor is understanding where to shoot. So in this game, you can't shoot the neck, or you can sometimes get away with the neck, but you have to aim for the head to get the headshot. And other games like hero shooters, for example, sometimes you can get away with aiming at the neck level and getting a headshot. But for a game like Battlefield 6, you have to aim for the head to get the headshot, which is definitely nice. You might be thinking, well, that's obvious. You have to aim for the head. Other games, sometimes you don't have to do that. That's why I just say that. Basically, the whole idea, getting your centering done, and you should pretty much hit a majority of your shots. Now, another thing that I personally like to do is even if the shot that you're going for seems ridiculous, even if the shot seems like there is no way you could have hit that shot, honestly, just go for it. I think being super confident, being super aggressive for this style of play is a need be. You need to be risky. You need to go for those risks, because there's a chance that you might hit one of the coolest shots you've ever hit in your entire life. That's why I think it's crucial to go for that. One of the biggest fundamentals is just being confident in yourself to go for those crazy shots that you might not have hit and didn't think about it. Basically, this playstyle is for fun. It's a little bit of a challenge. That's why I enjoy it, and that's why I play the game this way. I still manage to do fairly well in a majority of my games, because I'm confident that I can get the shot. Now let's talk about the two builds that I highly recommend if you're going for this playstyle, and then we'll end it off with some clips to show you what aggressive sniping is all about. Now, starting off with the builds, the first thing is you can build the build however you want. This is just what I prefer. Of course, it's a decent baseline, but you can change it however you want. So the first thing is having a suppressor. Suppressors in this game is crucial no matter what game mode or whatever weapon you use. Crucial, a must-need attachment. Now, following that, the barrel we're going to be using is the extended barrel, because that raises our muzzle velocity to 1,100. And I think having that 1,100 will save your life so much more than you actually think it will. It's just way too good not to be using, and highly encouraged and highly recommended for any mini scout build. Then for a grip, we're going to be using the stubby. This allows for a slightly faster transition to aim down sights. It gives you, just 2 more on the mobility spectrum as well. Standard 10 round, 5 or the standard bullets. Use the anti-glare, you can have it. I like using the ACOG, the 4X. It still gives a sniper glimpse, but it gives a nice enough scope, allows for some quick shots. Now, you can either use the LERT 8X, the ACOG, or you can use the SSDS 6X, whatever your preference may be. I typically tell people to go 8X, 6X, or 4X. You don't necessarily need a 10X unless you're going for some crazy long-range shots. You can use a thermal if you want to, but I right now prefer the ACOG. And then we're using the blue laser. The blue laser, if we come down and go to no attachment, it gives us hip fire, it gives us mobility. We're going for an aggressive playstyle. We kind of need that mobility. It's a secondary factor that's very nice, very beneficial. So I just slap it on. Yes, it sometimes gives you away while sniping, but I think it's worth it if you're trying to play that aggressive playstyle. Now let's talk about the second build. Basically, the second build is pretty much similar to the first, where you have suppressor, you have extended barrel, but for here, I actually take this 10 stubby and I go to the full angled. You lose 2 mobility, but you gain a little bit of a trade-off. When you lose those 2 mobility, you come to blue lasers and you put the better blue laser on and you gain more hip fire. This just allows you to be a little bit more reliable when you're up close and you have to go for a random no scope here and there. It could be beneficial to have that 54 count, but again, it's completely optional whatever build you want to use. Either or is fine. Both the builds are identical for the most part. If I swap, say, this laser to here, right, I go back to the other one, and I have 64 mobility. If I go back to the full angled, and I go back to the better laser, you gain more hip fire. It's just whatever you want more of. Do you want more mobility or do you want more hip fire? Completely preference based, either or option is fine in my opinion. But those are the two builds that I always run when I do this playstyle and just how I play the game. The second thing is people also ask me what secondary to use when, doing this. Now there's two options. Do you want practicality or do you want style points? If you want practicality, then you would probably use the 357 trait, or you would use any of the other semi-automatic revolvers, or pistols, whatever it may be. The traits is nice, or if you want the style points, you go for the M44 Magnum. And if you're using the Magnum, I highly encourage you not to use the extended. You can use the basic or the short, whatever you really want. Typically, you would probably opt for the short so you get more hip fire. And then you can just go for the hollow points with the red dot, or you go for the hollow point without a scope. You want the hollow points, though. That is the big thing when it comes to the M44 Magnum. And that's essentially how you build the M44, at least when you're going for sniping. If you're doing the traits, all you really have to do is try to get hollow points, get the fast, and then get the green laser, and this is practically the best hip fire pistol around. So either or is fine, or you can use any pistol you want. Typically, I just switch between these two. Again, M44 for style points, 357 trait, and the others for practicality. But we always go for the style points, because who doesn't like style? With all of that said and done, let's combine the movement plus the aiming and, of course, the style points onto one just to show you what aggressive sniping is all about. And if you want any more information about aggressive sniping, or you just want an awesome place to hang out, then I highly encourage you to come check out my Twitch, where I practically stream each and every single day. It's gonna peek there. Yep. Oh my god. The farm! Oh! Oh! Oh. Crunchy. Oh. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Holy shit. Oh my god! Oh! Hi guys. How's it going? A little bit frustrating. Dude, I'm just like thinking more and more about it. Imagine ACOG didn't have sniper glance, bro. The amount of diabolical things I would do.